Scano, Sego, nice to see you, Grandma Marcia. We there's a little bit of technical problems this evening, so I'm really grateful that you were able to hang on while we got things working on this end. We're still waiting for Grandma Renee and Grandma Gail to come. I know that we've had a bit of different difficulties with connecting earlier in the day. We had some snow, but anyway, just wanted to welcome that snow and welcome that beautiful weather that blanket will say that's falling and preparing us for the days ahead and the time ahead, and you're here with us to share some knowledge and transfer some wisdom and remind us about this time of year and what our responsibility is. Yawa, for being here. You're so beautiful. I love seeing you.
It's good to be here. Okay, so we've had a little bit of a break. We actually started doing this. It was a year ago, so last December we started doing this, and it was just a time we felt it was important to share information to everybody. And first of all, I want to say, like, Sego, and really happy solstice, which is going to be upon us tomorrow, the shortest day of the year. So already that excites me, knowing that there's going to be a little bit more light every day. And having lived way up in the far north for a good many years of my life, I used to live on Haudenosaunee on the northwest coast of British Columbia. And it's all about 45 minutes, even less light, like at the end of the day, than it is here where I am on Vancouver Island. So it's interesting, and light for me, I guess that just shows how important it is to me. But I think this season too, for me, I really realize how much more the celebration of the solstice, which is happening tomorrow, is such an important day because, in ancient times, of course, that was part of the natural cycle, the natural world. And Christmas wasn't around then, way back in the day. So this was the time when, people celebrated knowing that that shift was going to happen and the light was going to be coming back again. And wintertime was always a great time for socialization. And I think that the thing with Christmas plunked in the middle of all that, it kind of takes us away a bit from noticing the natural cycles and being with nature. And that's what's important about the solstices and the equinoxes, those real markers of time for that continuing cycle that happens every year. So I'm happy to be here, and I hope you have a happy holiday too. So this, what we've decided to do is we do the Mayan calendar, which I will do a presentation on. And we also share the moon phases that we're in at every month. And then we also talk about the ceremonial cycle for the Haudenosaunee. And so you can kind of like take that away with you for the month and do what you can with that. And hopefully we're able to share some bits of information that you'll be able to carry forward with you in your life. So for me, I've been a day keeper with the Mayan calendar now. I've been studying it, I guess, for over 20 years and following the times and rotations of it. And what's different about the Mayan calendar is that it's a calendar that has a 260-day cycle. And that is because in the Mayan calendar, there are 20 day lords that are all different, and there are 13 vibrations. And so 20 times 13, that's how long it takes for each of those day lords to make a connection with the vibrations. And so again, even the calendar is depicted in a cycle. And then you've got the 13 vibrations, and they kind of go like the cogs in a wheel, rotate around. And so that takes 260 days for that full cycle to complete. So the interesting thing is that whatever day you were born on, the day that you appeared and took your first breath of life, you inhaled the vibration of the cosmos on that day, whatever it was, and you also inhaled the nature of that day lord or that spirit for that day. So that is in you, that is in your calendar, and that determines, your walk in the world and how you go. what I really like about the calendar is that it not only tells you, like the Gregorian calendar, you look at it, okay, this is what day it is, this is the date. This calendar, you can actually go backwards too and figure out where you've been, but it also helps you to look forward and know where you're going or what's coming. And it teaches you that there's days that are better to do certain things. And so those are some of the things that I will cover. So if you have your own little calendar in front of you, it just might be helpful to jot a few little stars or notes on there as I go along, because I'm going to talk about the cycles that we're in. But first of all, I want to just mention the cycle we just came out of leading into this one. So each cycle lasts 13 days each week. And so, hello, Grandmother Renee. And so that previous cycle started on December the 3rd and ended on December the 15th. And so it was, at the beginning of it was a fire sign, because it all is related to the elements. And the end of it was a fire sign. So it started off with one Khan on December the 3rd. And that is the day lord of the feathered serpent. So that is the teacher that teaches us about shedding things, about releasing things. It's all about the rhythms of life. And so it's all about transformation and growth, because like the serpent, you shed your skin. But what's interesting about the feathered serpent is that it's kind of like an opposite as well, because the feathered part of it can fly, more connected to the cosmos, and the tail part of it is way more connected to the earth and more grounded. So it just shows you how duality can exist together in a good way. And the 13th day in that last cycle we just finished was the day lord of Noh. And that's all about the wisdom of the earth. And Mother Earth right now, like Jody said, the blanket is coming down upon her where you are anyway, not here on the West Coast. But, she's resting because she's had a big year and she's got to get ready for this year coming, as do all of the animals and the plants and everything that depends upon her. That's all in that rest phase right now. Noch is also about wisdom and ideas and thoughts. So what that last 13-day week brought us through was having us look at our own walk through the world, what it is that's coming into our life, how that's affecting us, the experiences we have. And it's really asking us to look at, how am I going to complete this spiritual journey? Mm-hmm. So on December 15th, which was 13 Noh, so 13 is like that potential for the greatest manifestation of that wisdom and knowledge. On that day, you are fully ready to receive the wisdom of the earth and the wisdom of the ancestors. So that's already come through you, and it's really a universal wisdom that comes from the cosmos. So Noh can be knowledge. Knowledge is one thing and wisdom is another. Knowledge, you can know something is right. And it takes me back to thinking about, we all know what's causing climate change and everything, but still, is that stopping people from, right, making good decisions and helping to impact the earth in a positive way? No. So they've got the knowledge, but they're not using it wisely. And so that's the difference. Wisdom is meaning that we are fully connected with Mother Nature and Spirit. We receive those messages. We know what it is that needs to be done. And then you take that and you apply it, because there's really no point in having all this knowledge if you're not going to do something with it. And so that was the whole gist of that last cycle. So the cycle that we're in now that we've got all of this knowledge, well, on Monday, December 16th, was the day of one Tihash. And so this 13-day week is going to be all about what we do with that wisdom and how you're going to communicate it, because Tihash is all about expressing it. It's like using your words in a good way, because we know words can be soothing and helpful and kind, or they can cut like a knife. And the thing with words too is once they're out of your mouth, you can't take them back. They've already sent that ripple and vibration out there, and whoever you have impacted with that, that's you can't undo that. So the initiation in this whole 13-day week we're in now is about becoming the teacher, to share how to become a community, to become a family, because the 13th day on this cycle, which will be on, let's see, the 28th, so it's Saturday, just after Christmas, is all about that total manifestation for what a family can be. And so, what we really want to look at is how we can be the ones to help support being those people who collaborate, who cooperate, who love each other, who can live in peace, and really support each other, and who can be in oneness with all of life. So, in the middle of the 13-day week, there's always that number 7, which is kind of like a balance point of the journey of the week. And so in this midweek, it's 7 Kot, and Kot is all about the fire, or the web of life, and the fire. So understanding that whatever you do to the web of life, you do to yourself as well. So that's, really understanding that those actions do have consequences, and that nothing goes unnoticed. And really, it drives home the point that it's not all about us, not just us as individuals. Whatever we do impacts everything else. It's about us serving and responding to the sacred gifts that the Creator and Mother Earth is giving to us, so we can restructure our communities and families. We could really say that we are doing our best to help heal the sacred hoop. And so on that next day, on 8 Con, which would be the 23rd, on this one, we're reaching the completion of that feathered serpent, that snake and the wings. It's all activated now, and we can call it the original instructions and the laws of nature, because we have them now. We know them. We know how to respect it. And now it's up to us to be able to communicate that and to share that, so others also can become part of that positive force. And so on 13, I'll tell you what December the 25th is, which is going to be on Wednesday. It's the day of Tenkiach. And so what happens is, once you activate all that wisdom and knowledge, you kind of go through a transformation and a birth with it all. And on that day of Christmas Day, that's the day that strong self-awareness comes flowing in. So it really should come to that peak on Christmas Day. So what a gift that is. Merry Christmas. And so then again on the 28th, that's the day where we get the 13Z, where the community and the family hopefully are in that space of good relationship with each other, loving each other, and living in peace. And so we want to become those who serve the community and the family, so that we can really live in that more harmonious life, whether it's in your own household or in your community with your greater circle of relatives, or even like the friends. It's not that family is just blood family. There's the other family members that we choose, because they help to support us, and they help us to our own walk in life. And so I'm just going to quickly go into carrying us into the new year, so you can think about that and take it with you, because it's an important time. So on Sunday, the December the 29th, we're going to be starting a new cycle, and it's 1 Bats to 13 Akabal. Bots is all about tying up loose ends. It's about completing things. So again, we're nearing the end of the year. So that's perfect timing for ending the new year. And I know for me, for some reason, this fall and going into winter has been really a time of certain people going through my mind. And I'm really finding that I have to follow that urge and to connect with them, however that is. And usually by a phone call, it might be people that I haven't even talked to for a year or so. And there's a reason that prompt happens. And then when you make that call, you just really realize again the depth of those long term relationships, especially how deep they are. It doesn't matter that that much time has passed. And so I would say that if you get those kind of little inklings of people who float through your mind to get in touch, just pick up that phone or send a text or something, but just let them know that you're thinking of them. It might make a world of difference to that person on that day. So with this week, we're going to be looking at weaving new threads. Bots is about weaving too. And so we're going to have to choose what we want to weave. What do we want to crystallize in its full expression on that 13th day, which is going to be Akabal. And that date will be on January the 10th. So this takes us to the place where we think about the wisdom that we've gained, the connection we have to the earth, and what is our journey in this world? What is it all about? What is my purpose? And so we can communicate this to others. We can go through a purification process. And what we will coming through to get to 13 Akabal, it gets us to the place of understanding the great mystery. Because following that previous 13-day week that took us to 13Z, which was all about the family, this 13-day week is all about what we want to start weaving. So if you're weaving problems from 13Z that weren't taken care of, then you would go through this 13-day week more like the Dark Ages with a lot of fears being applied. Fears from the past or fears from listening to the news, social systems, the economics, and it kind of all gets confusing. But if you are weaving your fabric, your beautiful new fabric, from that place of that connected place to, the cosmos and the star beings and the creator, then the clans and families can be restructured in a way that's going to bring those new, beautiful new strands and take us to a new destiny together and a new understanding. And everyone hopefully will come to that place of understanding that we are actually spiritual beings that are here now having a physical experience. And so that's the cycles that we've come through and are into the new year. And we'll pick up with that once we reconnect again in the new year. But a couple of questions I'd like you to ponder and take forward with you as you complete this year out would be what will you be willing to shed or to leave behind that that no longer serves you or that is holding you back from really becoming who you are meant to step into becoming? And the second question would be, what are you weaving? And what's that beautiful fabric going to look like that you want to take with you into the new year? Because those are the new seeds that you'll be planting. Those are the new hopes that you'll be planting and taking forward into the new year. So thank you very much for hearing me, and Nyawagoa, and yes, happy holidays, everybody.
Oh, nice. Thank you for that, Grandma Marcia. Grandma Renee is here, so I'm actually just going to. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I pulled up the Mayan sign calculator. You know how you mentioned to check out your Mayan sign report. So while you were talking, I actually did that, and it's pretty cool. I according to my sign report, it provided me my day sign, my galactic tone, and my Tricana sign. Is that what it's called?
Right.
And like, I'm pretty cool based on when I was born, and it's pretty real, true. So
Yeah.
have some fun with it. I'm going to pop that in the chat right now, and then Grandma Renee, it's beautiful to see you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
showing up. Yeah.
I apologize for being a little late. I just heard some sad news in our community, and it took a while to
Mm,
compose myself. It was one of my neighbors had passed away, so
Oh.
just.
no.
Mm.
But
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, here I am. I'm ready, and I in the spirit world, it's so important that we. How many are ready? Yeah, we're so caught up with materialistic things, and I
Mm.
really like us when we share the Mayan calendar because that's ancient knowledge. Look how far away we've come from ancient knowledge to materialistic world. It's sad, and it's sad how our sacred ceremonies have changed. You know, a lot of people are stressed out right now because what is the theme? Buy, buy, buy. When I was talking to others, and we should have. They feel that it's really has changed our thinking. We have really changed our thinking. When we need to hear more of the Mayan calendars, and I'm so grateful that now on our radio TV station, the men are talking about what moon it is. It's amazing. Yes, on our news, and they're talking about the names that their original names, and it really is important. And I'm glad the men are mentioning it now. And today, we look at the moon in the past this month, and I'm so grateful that the snow came because it is a gift. And that's when we hear. I was laughing at the newsman a while ago because he said it's cold. I said, how long did it take him to say it's cold? Because that's this month. We are to get ready because it's going to be cold. And little do they know, they're not ready. And people complain all the time. And that's why our calendars play a very important role of being proactive, being prepared, and prevention of sickness.
Mhm.
When the grandmother said it's going to be otole, means it's going to be cold, we need to look at ourselves, just like you said in the Mayan calendar. We need to look inward. What am I doing to protect myself from the cold? What am I doing to take? And that was the message of that grandmother a long time ago. How are you getting ready? Do you have a comfortable place? Do you have, you know, do you have warm enough clothes? Well, the grandmothers would be busy sewing. Nobody sews anymore. I mean, not like they used to, make mitts and gloves, and that's when you knew winter was coming because when you see people coming around and they have boxes of hats and gloves, and people are getting the other people ready for winter. So I like to hear that word. It's cold, otole. It's cold. So it reminds me when I go outside, I'm going to be fresh because that cold has put down all those virus in that sense that it's a renewal of my being. It's a refreshing of my mind. So when I breathe in that coldness, it clears my mind of worrying, and it also prepares my chest. My chest. How many are concerned about their chest?
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's isn't that going inward? You're looking at how are you taking care of your lungs? What are you drinking for preparing your lungs? What medicines are you what teas are you taking? This is what it means when it's cold. What are you doing to help you? Are you cutting back on real hot water, hot showers? Because Traditionally, we didn't have hot water tanks. And I hear that our people have made themselves susceptible to a lot of health problems by not being ready, by not being ready for the cold. That's why each month they talk about, oh, you got to get ready. You got to get ready. Nobody's listening. Grandma says, well, you didn't listen. Now you're going to get sick. And so we have to think about those things. We have to bring out our boots and our coats. We have to bring out these things that protect us. Today I got another shawl, a scarf. Oh, that's one of the things. That's how you have to protect yourself. Long time ago, we used to have our face covered and our forehead covered, and we would go out there in the cold. But in that time, we were always grateful to sit and come into the house. When we came into that home, we felt the heat, we felt the love, we felt the kindness and goodness of that home. And that's what we need to do, is bring back that fire in our homes. We need to bring that fire. That means that love. We need to use kind words instead of being angry because it's cold out. We are to change it, just like she said. The duality, the purpose of life. So you got to use warm words. If it's cold out, you're going to use kind words, and so you heat up that body. Isn't that appropriate? When it's winter, you need to bring in good words, kind words, not bitter words that attacks the spirit. And that's why I like, even it was called Little Spirit. Their little spirit. And that is because the wind would come across the land. And that is another cleansing. And so when the wind would come, it was to renew the land. And it was like, oh, grandma's busy sweeping. She's cleaning up. And so this is when we saw that little spirit, that's what they call that wind, because it would go and it would go across the lawn. I miss those times. I miss those winters that we used to have and hear the stories. And that is a time that was created for families to get together. It wasn't time to, as they say, to divide. This was a time to coming together. And I like how we had to look at ourselves at how we are today. Too many children have. It's sad because I remember how my grandma said, we never put our babies over there. When we had babies, especially during the winter, if you have a winter baby, would you put that baby in another room? Traditionally, we always had that baby close to us. And so when we knew we were going to have winter babies, we had to get ready. We had to, when they were born, we even introduced them to the coal. So those babies knew this environment. The babies knew the element of kindness and goodness. People would say, here's your auntie or uncle, here's your family. And they would introduce them to the cold winds. They would introduce them to those 4 directions of those 4 winds. And those children would know. They would pick up and they would know. We don't do that anymore. So these winds play a very important role in our life. Like Marcia talked about cleansing, getting rid of the things that shouldn't be in our life. And that's why the cold was to put down things. Even your breath, when you feel frustrated, go out there and blow it. And so the wind will come and put those words down. So that if you're feeling upset, go outside and even howl. The dogs and the wolves, they always used to howl during this time. And so it's very important to bring that out of you got to strengthen your chest. You got to use that voice and bring out that pain, Yes, the other day in my group, we were talking about the duality of pain. Pain is a teacher. And that's why, sometimes in the winter it's so cold. It's a great teacher to teach us how to be prepared. We were talking about how our grandmas would make us mitts. And we always heard that song. Um, I'm trying to think of it again. The kitties, the 10 little kitties that lost their mittens. Yes. And we were reminded of how important our mitts were. And we were to hang up our mitts. We were to hang them up. And when we saw that, we were happy little campers because we knew we were going to be protected when we went outside. Even when we went outside during the winter, we loved it. We played outside and we would come in, our cheeks were so rosy. And that was building up our immune system. It was revitalizing us. And you know what? We even did laundry. And we used to hang our clothes out on the line. Oh, it was cold hanging those clothes out on the line. And you know what? Yep, they turn into your jeans turn into stiff cardboard like it was then you had to bring them in the house and learn how to dry them. So I think about the people a long time ago. We were gotten too soft. And I like to think of winter as one of the greatest teachers. Now you have your fingers count off the things that winter is going to teach us. Winter's going to teach us, are we have enough food in our pantry? Don't the animals teach us that? They know. They don't have a calendar, but they know. And it's us that we go, we're not ready. So nature is always speaking, especially the moon. She's always talking. And she'll tell us when there's going to be some sadness too when you look up in the sky. But she also tells us when storms are coming. How many have seen circles around the moon? That's another sign that tells there's a storm coming. In 3 days, there will be a storm. And so we need to be, Grandma wants you to be prepared. Do you have shovels? Right? Do you have, physically, are you able to shovel? Shoveling is good for us. It builds up our bodies. We've gotten too soft. And a long time ago, all the young people would go out and to the neighbors and they would say, "Can we shovel your snow, your driveway or your walkway?" And the ladies, our neighbors, they would have hot chocolate. They would have maybe homemade cookies, and that was our treat for just helping our neighbors out a long time ago. So these things, how winter speaks to us is there's relationships. There's relationships that need to continue in a good way. Relationship of making sure your neighbor's taken care of, making sure there's enough wood, making sure there's enough fuel, making sure everybody's taken care of. That's how it used to be. Grandma, that's her message, was for all of us to help one another. It's going to get cold. And back then, a lot of people didn't have all these big comforters and everything. What we had was body heat, and it was just being snuggled in bed with your siblings. We never thought it was have one for each bed. Wow. My grandma would always use that excuse. She says, if they're bad, she said, you send them to bed. And then the cold comes, The cold comes and both of you are mad. You're laying on each side. You've got your head turned the opposite way. And you're mad at each other because you were fighting. But cold comes in. And next thing you know, the cold makes you go like this. You come closer together. And next thing you turn around and then you're hugging one another to keep warm. And you forget you were mad because that's what Grandma says. The cold is a gift to help us to remember our relationships with one another. We are so blessed. We were just talking about how we used our waterproof boots. We talk about our bread bags, how we use bread bags. To our grandmothers would talk about, oh, you want to get your feet wet, so we would also have bread bags, and we would put them on, and then we didn't think we were poor. We improvise. And that's what people have forgotten today, is that relationship with working with the universe. Yes, have changed a lot. People are getting more and more in debt just to do this one day. And then the Mayan calendar talks about us being good relationships, talking about how many made homemade gifts. How many had to get canned goods or jars? Now you can make a package for cookies. You can make homemade cookies. Give them as gifts. It is so nice to be in the kitchen when it's cold, to be cooking, to teach your children about cooking, about baking. That this afternoon we had a beautiful afternoon with a group of women, and we were talking about how everything has changed since when we were little girls. When we knew it was cold, there are many things that we had to do, and we think about them today and how our children have gotten very soft. They're not used to cold weather. They're not listening to Grandmother Moon. And that's what makes us sad, because we see so much sickness. So this journey that we're taking, that's true. We have to choose how we want to flow through life. If you're not ready, then you're going to have hard times. So making sure your body is strong enough. So fall gets you ready for doing a lot of things. It makes you physically ready so that you can be outdoors, you can do the things, because you would be finishing off your garden or many things to be done. So every season was almost preparing you. Every Grandmother Moon was always preparing you to get ready for change. There's always change. And that's what she wanted you to know. She has loved you so much that she said, just simple words, it's cold. It's a moon without. So you're going to learn how to go without. And that's what we need to learn, is learn how to go without. Not many people, as they say, there are many that want a lot of things, but in our real life, we're supposed to go without in order to make us more resilient. I don't mean to offend anyone, but we talked about how good Christmas was a long time ago. We appreciate what we were given. Even today, what we got was a bag. In there was one orange, there was one apple, and there was a candy cane, and there was hard candy, and there was nuts. So that was a gift that we remember how to be thankful for what we got. We didn't What we got at that time, we knew it was hard to come by, so we really appreciate this gift. So that's what Grandmother was really bringing, that message. Learning how to go without. And when you get these gifts, learn how to appreciate these gifts. That's what that's what this time is all about. Learning how to go without and learning how to appreciate what you do have. And so that our spirit is okay. How many have been out there making snow angels? You see, that's a gift. Just to be there doing that, it always makes that energizing playfulness. And even see the animals when they know it's going to be cold out. But today, a lot of the animals, they don't go outside. It's sad. The animals a long time ago, they were outside, and you see when it snowed, they would be just like this, jumping in the snow, deep snow, and they would be rolling around in the snow. So that's where we learn how to have fun. That was a time of having time to renew ourselves with the earth. That was time to recognize that relationship, how generous she was. Sometimes we had snow so high, we liked to build forts. We improvised. There were many times when we had to stay home. Oh, we loved that when we didn't have to go to school, because it told us that the roads were safe and you'd be better be at home, you'd be safer. So I got to look at winter as a special gift. And when I see the snow falling, I just think of how beautiful life is, because at this time, our mother, the earth, is getting a blanket so she can rest, because she has a lot of little ones that she has to prepare and feed and take care of. And that is you. And so she needs that rest to be productive, to have the food that we need. And so this is a time when grandmother says, my daughter must rest. And so she sends that blanket. And she sends that coal, because she knows if it doesn't get coal, then the virus in the summertime is going to be very harmful to us. It's going to destroy our crops, it's going to destroy our foods, it's going to destroy our trees, it's going to destroy a lot of things. So we should learn how to love that word coal, otole, because it is a gift of renewing us. Today we complain because it gets cold. We complain because it rains. But you have to realize that we need that in order to live for the summer. It's a gift that's given to us now to replenish and to take care of her. So at this time, it's time for us to just be playful. Many people don't like driving in the snow. Many people forgot how to be careful. And again, self-care is very important, because when it's cold, you have to be prepared. Because even the rivers, they don't freeze like they used to. We were just talking about it the other day, how the rivers they would be so cold that cars could drive on them. And the people would play hockey. All the people, everybody from around the corner, everybody would be skating on the pond, the mill pond, or the river. Everybody would be just out there. There would be cars on the river, just like it was a ground. And then when the time came, when we hear Grandmother Moon changing, next is going to be another change. And now we will know that the weather will get warmer. So tomorrow, being the 21st, it says things are going to change. We have to get ready. This is time when we make commitments. Every day we are to make commitments. Being prepared. What are you doing so that you do not fall? What are you doing so that you do not get sick? What are you doing to live a happy life? Because if you're not prepared, you're going to be injured, and then you're going to be complaining. So the idea is pain is going to teach you not to have it. That's what we talked about. Is Grandma said pain is the best teacher. And in the cold, you get, sometimes your fingers get so cold, but you learn how to slow your body temperature down, and so that you can make this journey. So I really love how we talked about fears, because people have a lot of fears of wintertime. The animals don't. The animals know already how to be ready. The animals have already gotten their beds made, their lodge already fixed. The beavers, all the different animals, they've gotten ready. It's just the human beings that have forgotten how to be prepared. I know you hear that word Indian time. Indian time was being prepared, being proactive. That's why we have the different phases of the moon. New moon. What do you expect when you're new moon? When you hear the new moon, you need to be new, renewed. You need to let go of things. And that's what Grandma Moon is always talking about each month. She's talking about receiving. You know, that first quarter, you take in this lesson of this month. What are the lessons? There are many teachers out there. It's the tree. The tree talks about how it gets ready. And we also have how the coal also prepared the trees. That's a good thing. I just remembered that. The trees. My granddaughter has a wood stove, and a long time ago, the the cold the coldness would come in, and then at that time it would touch certain trees, and you would hear that crack. Grandpa would say, "Ah, he's helping us getting the wood for next year," and that's what we would do is gather up the wood for next year. And so my granddaughter, she was out there, and her children were gathering up the wood to burn, and that is a beautiful gift. That is one of the most precious gift of anything is having a wood stove. Having that wood stove because it is a different relationship. It gives a lot of love, kindness, and it's amazing. It is amazing. Because the other day I was visiting her, and I sat there just for a little while, and I just felt like, oh, I was going to fall off to sleep because I was out in the cold, and then I go and sit by the fire there. So, you know, weaving. I like that word, weaving. And that's what the wind does. It weaves the snow, and you see how it decorates the trees. You see all the snow on top of how each artist, nature, how there are amazing artists. They pile the snow on the branches. They pile the snow and make it so beautiful. When you look out, you say, oh, wow. And that's how Creator looks at us. He gives us this snow to remember our playfulness. How many of you had a good childhood memory of winter? That is your immune system. That builds up your immune system. Soon as you hear that wind coming, it says, oh, right away my immune system really picks up, and it's amazing. So isn't that wisdom? Wisdom of the land. How the land is there to help us to be very, very resilient. And so I'm so grateful to hear Marsha's interpretation, and then the moon, Grandma Moon interpretation. They're both looking after us in such a beautiful way of always being prepared, learning how to be resilient in all times. It's like she's always watching us. And no matter it was 1,000 years ago, it's still meaningful today. Very powerful today. So thank you for joining us tonight. Marcia, I'm just anxious to see the next week what's going to come. I mean, next session we're going to have, because I get excited when I hear all this information and complement it with Grandmother Moon from here. It's just like, wow, I'm going to be forever young just by learning all these new things. So thank you for sharing, and I hope everyone else has been in a good place of when you see that snow, just give thanks. I'm sorry, Marcia, that you didn't get the snow.
Oh, we will get some eventually.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
Usually January is when we get it here, because we're right on the coast, and those ocean waters kind of keep it a little at bay for a while. But January it comes in.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed your sharing with us and how weaving. I really like that idea because today we have a weaving of a lot of materialistic things.
Mhm.
Nothing of natural anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the synthetic. We got to get back to that good old cotton and wool.
Yeah. I just went and bought some socks that come from the llamas, so my feet will be nice and warm.
Yes. I have a pair of mitts from llama wool, and they aren't super thick, but they are so warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So beautiful. Grandma Renee, thank you so much for sharing those beautiful words. I was in the background putzing at my house, sticking to my responsibilities of this evening, and you know my husband, so there he was. Yeah, lingering, listening to the beautiful messages, and it's just so cute. They're so cute, you know? So these beautiful these beautiful messages here, everyone. Thank you so much. Just a lot of beautiful gratitude, and I just wanted to pop them up. So um sharing. Oh, that one I just shared, that was kind of funny. uh just reminders, right, of how to live in a good way,
Yes.
and remembering, right, remembering how
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
these lessons have been here for so many years, like forever, and it's the natural world, right, that guides us,
Yeah.
and the grandmas that remind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have wonderful holidays, Grandma Renee. Sending love and prayers to your community,
Yeah.
and we'll be holding all of them in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank
Yawa, Chi Miigwech, happy
Mhm.
holidays.
Yeah.